Marvel Age Star Wars. My name is Sean, sitting here with Brooks.
Hey everybody! Today we're talking about Marvel Star Wars number 10.
The epic conclusion of the Aduba 3 storyline. The infamous incident at Aduba 3. Asbestos and obstetrics.
The behemoth from below! Yeah. So...
I guess so. He came out of a mountain, but it seemed like it was a fairly level plain to the rest of them. They were standing on top of a mountain. So
if you were on a mountain and something came up from underground, you'd say it was below, from underground. You wouldn't call it above ground.
I don't know.
Keep firing, Chewie, or this whole planet is doomed.
Not to mention us. Okay.
So the old man called out a creature that will destroy the entire planet, according to Han, just to get rid of some bikers. Like, well, in all fairness, the old man says, it does work, right? Yeah. You kill the planet, the bikers are gone.
You only have to do it once.
I'm kind of right.
That's why I haven't done it before.
I like how the us is in like bold red. You don't see that a lot where they change the color of it.
It's like just to be clear, as to priority. I like these ray guns that they have. Like, he's got a big, weird purple ray gun. So Chewie has a big, weird sort of laser crossbow, except it's got a backwards bow to it.
Yeah, I think, like, we were talking before, looking at this, and we suppose this is their interpretation of his bowcaster?
Yeah, like they just had a vague idea that he has a crossbow kind of thing. This kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and you had your action figures, and then you lost the guns because they're tiny, and then you just used guns that came with like Fisher Price or some other place. You're like, these are good enough. These just sort of weird, hot pink looking sci-fi guns.
I thought when I first saw this that the purple was some kind of lighting effect. Like they was being lit by some purple glow from something else. But looking at it, there's no purple light coming from anywhere, and it's not affecting them.
And you wouldn't get that in these digital ones because, like we said, there's no gradient or anything. They just do solid colors. Like, look at the behemoth. He's the same weird lime green all the way across. There's no shading or anything.
He's got some darker green on his head.
I'm pretty sure that shading was probably part of the original artwork, though. That probably isn't rendered in the coloring.
Notice also that Han's legs are normal now. They're not like crazy muscular like they were the first two issues.
Yeah, I think they're getting a handle on him having a more normal sort of physique. To a point, I don't mind that, because like if you look at Chewie, they showed Chewie as having like some pretty buff looking arms here, and I don't mind. That's a comic booky kind of thing.
Well, Chewie, he's strong. I don't mind that, but when they show Han as some kind of like He-Man, it looks weird.
Chewie's got a weird looking foot here, though.
His foot is really weird looking. Look how long his toenails are, his claws.
And his leg is so... I mean, I'm sure they're going for a perspective thing there, but it's kind of stumpy looking. Because if you look at his other leg, which is mostly off screen, you see there's like a bend to it. It looks like it's probably normal sized under that titling.
Is his foot on the monster's foot?
I guess that's maybe what's supposed to happen, but I don't think so, though, because... Well, I guess if the arm could be really long, but I don't know, because that hand looks like it's smaller than the other hand that's reaching out for Han. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense if it's close enough for Chewie to touch it.
If that's not what's happening, then is Chewie just falling?
He's just leaning back.
With his leg up in the air like that? That doesn't seem very stable.
The frame of all these covers is kind of weird to me. Like, they always choose these odd angles to box the characters in, and then I don't know if that comes from wanting to do like sort of a broad kind of scene, but it has to be portrayed for obvious reasons, and it just kind of gets sort of forced looking.
So that's the cover. It's if I were a kid and I saw that, I'd think, oh, cool, fighting a monster. I'm down with that.
Yeah, and it's not bad. Like, as a cover design, it's not terrible. I don't know Hoberg. I don't know the artist here. So
I like how he does his E.
Yeah, from an artistic perspective, I appreciate your lettering. Like, if he was to say, well, is there anything about it you did like? I like how you wrote your name.
Okay, so here we see the the actual scale of the behemoth.
Yeah, which
And
is
he does look like an
it's
actual
like
behemoth.
a Godzilla. Yeah, because his hand he could squeeze one of those Cloud Riders between his fingernails here. So we have
Oh
to
yeah,
assume that he wasn't touching Chewbacca's foot.
they're like the size of his eye or something. I mean, he's huge.
Yeah, and
I'd
chances are
imagine
that scale will change a little bit.
something coming out of the ground like that must cause a huge earthquake, I would think. I mean,
What's going on with these guys' shots? Look at that one guy in the upper right. Is he even trying?
maybe he was
That
shooting
is
at
a
his head.
wild shot.
He shot at his nose and just barely missed, maybe.
We're gonna lose some Cloud Riders to friendly fire.
I like
here,
this
I
other
think.
laser. Look at the one coming up into his armpit. It curves.
Yeah,
Like, that's not how I have my understanding of lasers.
that's not how rays work. I don't think.
These Skyrider bikes are kind of weird looking. I never really pay attention. They almost look like lightsabers with little windshields on them or something.
Yeah, like almost kind of flashlights, and they just put like little skis on them, which I guess they are for landing, but it doesn't seem like a super useful kind of vehicle.
They look to me like I don't remember if I said this in a different episode or not, but they look like Zartan's bike. The little weird thing that Zartan came with, his swamp skier or whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
exactly, and that's exactly what it was. It was like a motorcycle with skis, but it was the coolest thing because it changed colors in sunlight. I think so did Zartan, didn't he? Wasn't that a thing?
Oh, Zartan, yeah, he changed the figure itself changed blue in the sun,
Yeah,
which I always thought was really cool as a kid.
yeah, I could see more of that. I thought that was cool.
I'm surprised they didn't make more toys that did that kind of thing. That was kind of a one-off to my awareness. I can't think of any other action figures that did that.
Yeah, that just routinely changed colors. Like I think they just found out that that was like completely toxic.
Yeah.
Like, oh
A
no,
lot of kids died holding those toys.
like
Um,
the chemical used for that is only found in narwhal horn.
so now we have
we just ran out of narwhals.
Don Glut wrote the script, but Howard
Yeah,
Chaykin also
so-
co-plotted it.
Well, I think we discussed this before. The main artist is usually credited as a plotter because the Marvel style of plotting out a comic was for the artist to lay out the artwork first, which basically plotted the entire story, and then the scripter would come in and write the captions and dialogue where they had been left room to do so. In this case, Roy Thomas has just sort of stepped away before his own story was finished, and Don Glut came in. Donald F. Glut being the novelist who wrote the novelization of The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
as
years
well.
later. So he did this first.
Yeah, this would have been first.
I wonder if this helped him get that job.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that you wouldn't think that they would go to the writer's stable at Marvel necessarily, but I guess Donald Glut must have just gotten around because they had tapped him to write an original Star Wars book back in those days. Supposedly, that was going to be centered on Wookiees. And then that never came to fruition, but he ended up getting the gig writing The Empire Strikes Back. And I think we've talked about this before, but I'm pretty sure that just Lucas burned out his enthusiasm for Wookiees by doing the holiday special, which was focused completely on Wookiees.
And thus unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, it was a
That's
very
not the
conceptual
primary reason
idea.
it was unwatchable.
He had this weird art film concept idea, and he handed it to who some of the guys, like Bruce Valanche. Like,
Oh, really?
You can't hand,
I didn't know he was involved in that.
you can't hand a guy like that
Is he
an
like the
artistic
Hollywood
idea.
Squares guy?
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's
don't
not a
see-
good collaboration.
This is a completely off the subject thing, but looking at the holiday special, I don't see any art film anything in that. It seems like a variety show.
Well, it became a variety show, but the concept, the framework of the story was we're going to center on the lives of these Wookiee characters, and they're going to interact with each other, and they're going to do it in Wookiee, and nobody's going to be there to translate it into English for us, and there's not going to be any subtitles. That's a very artistic kind of concept to run with, because everybody in the writer's room is like, I don't know, how are we supposed to do that? Like, you figure it out. I just think it'd be
We'll
interesting.
have them watch some Jefferson Airplane. That works. Or really
Well-
Jefferson Starship at that point.
I think they were Jefferson's Starship, but I could be wrong there.
Well,
but
it'd
that's
make
a
more
perfect
sense to be starship.
that's a perfectly valid point though. It's like, so they turned out just garbage. Like, yes, they didn't know how to write under those constraints. So of
I mean,
course
there was kind of a story.
we just started
right?
doing skits and things about Harvey Korman, like trying to cook spaghetti or some crap
Yeah.
with 8 arms.
And
We
B.
did-
Arthur in a cantina.
We didn't know. We panicked, and we just did an animated segment, which turned out to be the only good thing.
I liked how whenever they showed the Wookiee homes, they were obviously just a drawing.
Well, because it was Ralph McQuarrie concept art.
Yeah, but
That
they
they
just
used.
kept. They didn't try to matte paint that look.
No.
They just kept the drawing. It's like, it was kind. I found it kind of jarring, even as a child. Just like, whoa, what?
I don't know. I remember being fully on board when I was a kid, just because, when you're a kid, you kind of zone things out while you're watching them anyway. Like, as an adult, you're like, how was I 8 years old and able to watch this? And like, because you weren't paying attention, you were diddling around, doing stuff on the floor or whatever, and your poor parents couldn't change the channel because you were quote unquote watching it.
That's what drove them to drinking.
Drove a lot of people to drinking that day.
So here we are,
Yeah, the
giant monster.
we got-
Han's hiding down at the bottom.
I'm assuming
Chewie's
Chewie's
prostrate.
sneaking here because he's just in a really awkward. It's like he knows that title box is there, and he's
I
just
think
kind of encumbered by
he's
it.
taking cover. He's like, look at that thing. I mean,
I guess
wouldn't
you would think he's hiding behind that outcropping of rocks, if not for the old man standing there, showing that that
you're
outcropping
right.
is way far away from him.
that completely messes it up.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
he has no cover as far as we can tell
And
from
that
this
rock
perspective.
headed towards the old man is huge, and it looks like it's about to smush him. So
Yeah, is that what's even happening, or is that rock just sitting there? This continues throughout this entire storyline of us not really understanding the physical continuity of what's happening in the story.
no one said anything about a monster.
Yeah, this wasn't in the original deal. Sweet splack! Now here we go again, like, where is this ray coming from?
From the upper left?
Who should...
Somebody flying around up there, I guess. He almost hit...
They almost got
Sergio.
Serji-X Arrogantus
Sergi, excuse me.
and his tiny, tiny cloud bike. Like, that doesn't look like it fits him at all.
Everyone assumed the old shaman to be a senile fool, incapable of actually summoning forth a scaly behemoth lost in the rock and legend of Aduba III.
For the simple purpose of lashing out and destroying this band of surly outlaws, especially Serji-X. Like, why especially? He doesn't seem especially worried about him.
Well, he's the only one of them except for the green guy that ever talks. We don't even know who any of the other guys are. They're just faceless bad guys. I like how they call him the arrogant one.
The arrogant one. Yeah, I know. Speaking back to the point that he's supposed to be like a lampoon of Sergio Aragones, I wonder if they just don't have a very good opinion of him.
Yeah. Known around the Marvel bullpen as the arrogant one.
The arrogant one.
I remember hearing stories about this beastie when I was a youth. So I guess Sergi-X is local. He spent his whole life here on this planet and then decided to start abducting the women, I guess.
Just went into business for himself. For female amusements. It's like, I wish he wouldn't keep throwing to that. It's like, just in case you wondered if maybe there's something else we do, that's pretty much it.
Somehow we make a living and fuel our bikes with female amusement.
Yeah. I don't even want to know. Like, there's like a human trafficking element that you're bringing into this because you have a whole economy based on that. And you don't seem to have any of the abducted women with you still, so you did something with them. It's like, I wish this implication weren't here in the story because I can't get away from it when they're doing everything else, and they keep coming back to it. They don't let me forget it. They just to let you know, I am a space rapist.
One thing about those stories sticks out in my mind. If we don't do something, it just isn't going to go away. Like that's the moral of the story when they tell you a kid, there's a giant behemoth beneath the mountain that can raise and destroy the entire planet. And if you don't do something about it, it ain't going away.
The underlying sort of message of all of these kaiju stories. In case you guys haven't got the metaphor, this is a problem that has to be dealt with. Like, really?
You can't just ignore the rampaging dinosaur monster.
We can't just leave it here. It's going to crush us all. It's like,
Come on, man. Let's get rid of the big Bizzack! Well, so much for that, dude. Serji's ray also kind of curls.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're pulled by gravity or something. Maybe they're actual projectiles of some kind.
This is the first time we see the Beast shoot a ray out of his face, and they're not even mentioning it as a thing. And it
And
looks
it also
weird.
doesn't even look like a ray.
It doesn't look like it comes. It's supposed to come out of his fin, and it doesn't really look like it does.
No, it comes out of the other side of his fin, it looks like.
It feels like
It's curving around the front of his fin somehow.
they just came back and added to the artwork to make it more dynamic. Because if you look at this thing, honestly, I think I'm right here. Because if you look at the hand of the monster, that's got little motion slashing to indicate that it popped that thing with its hand.
That's what I assumed happened.
And then somebody else came back and said, wouldn't it be cooler if it had a head ray? And that's why that angle's so weird.
It's obviously his hand. It goes right up into where the explosion is.
But,
you're right.
But for
you're
some
definitely
reason,
right
they
about
just
that.
at the last minute decided head ray would be more fun.
Oh, but that looks weird.
It's really weird. And the fact that no one mentions that it's a thing that the creature does, like as a new development.
So what's happening in his other hand? There's like some kind of explosion coming out of that?
Is he shooting lava out of his hand, or did somebody just crash into his hand?
And his foot has like a big red
I guess he
splat.
stomped somebody. Yeah, he's like got all kinds of business happening.
Is that blood?
Did somebody...
Gross.
Frank! Maybe that's what that means. Like, whoa!
Yeah.
Too far.
Holy Frank.
Frank!
Frank me!
Overkill. He's slapping people and giving them head rays and shooting lava out of his fists, stomping people with paste in one panel.
We need to point out something that is wrong in this next frame, and that is the presence of Don Quixote here.
Don Quixote. I noticed one thing too when I was going back over it, because I was writing an episode description and verifying my spelling. The spelling of Don Quixote's name changes from one issue to another. Because in the first issue, it's like Quixote, like Khih, like it's like Quixote, like spelled out phonetically. And someone later on was like, "That's pretty dumb." And later on, they just kind of do like Quixote, like Kioti. Like, so it kind of sounds like it, but it doesn't like deliberately phonetically spell it out. Like, but you can't just keep changing the character names just because they're dumb.
And isn't he died?
Yeah.
In the last issue.
And they didn't explain anything. Like, they will in a second, but it is more like they forgot that and drew him in, and then he had to, the next time he had a word balloon, say, "Thank God I had my armor on when they shot me."
I mean, it's like maybe they didn't mean for him to be dead, and they meant for him to be knocked out, but they should have there's something missing in there. Because it feels like they needed him in this issue to defeat the monster. But the guy that wrote the last issue didn't know that, so they killed him off.
I don't know. It just feels unnecessary because in this one we'll get to it, but I don't feel like he is that necessary to defeat the monster. In a sense that you have to write him in. I like the goofy look on Chewie's face up there.
Yeah. The kid too is like, "What, Frank?" Maybe the kid's the one screaming Frank. We don't know.
Hard to say.
Can't just assume it's Chewie.
Chewie's the only one who speaks in sort of disembodied bubbles, like they're never attributed to him.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. And here's Hedgie in his bright blue Sonic.
Again. Yeah, come on now, guys. He's been going back and forth.
Looking more and more like a cat every time we see him.
Yeah, he's got this buck tooth. He's got an otter face.
Yeah, but not a hedgehog face.
Most. He actually doesn't look at all like a hedgehog, because it's not. Hedgehogs don't have faces that look. I mean, he's a space hedgehog. He doesn't have to look like a hedgehog, but it is funny.
He's just a blue cat with spines.
He's got buck teeth, and so does Jackson. For some reason, all of the animal characters have buck teeth.
Now what, Solo? Wait.
Now what, Solo? If that behemoth's size and strength weren't bad enough.
Yeah, I know, Hedgie. It's come equipped with some kind of built-in blaster. I like how they call it a blaster. Like, it's a blaster. It's shooting rays out of its head. It's got a built-in blaster. Like, okay, dude. The monster hasn't attacked us, but only the ones the shaman summoned him to fight.
Serji-X and his stinking cutthroats.
I guess somehow
Like,
the old man is mentally controlling him, because how else would it know?
well, that being the case, if you're so sure that's the case, let's just get out of here. Why are we watching?
Well, you know, you get some enjoyment out of seeing Sergi get killed.
Getting some people get crunked.
Yeah, crunk. That's where the term
Bang.
crunk came from. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They talk about
Wasn't just Conan O'Brien.
yeah, it came from this issue of Star Wars. Hey, what's it doing now? Well, it's stepping on people. What do you think?
Yeah. Why does that bear explanation?
What? It's stepping? What? Its legs move?
It's making a landslide.
Which affects us in the air somehow?
Well, since half of our guys, for some reason, are on the ground, they're really affected.
Yee.
Move those sky speeders. Like, why do you care?
Why were they parked?
Yeah. We're terrible at this.
It's knocking us down like maze flies.
Yeah, I just because it sounds like mayflies, but we don't have that as a month here. Because we might not have months.
But we like to put flies in mazes. Our blasters don't even phase it. Maze and phase. Oh, they got some rhyme going on. That's that's what makes it crunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, leader man.
We're spitting it out.
What do you say we forget this pauper's village and get out of here? No! It's getting to be a personal thing between me and this beastie that I just met like half a minute ago.
Yeah, really.
And I still have me.
I might as well bring up one more time how fully into sexual assault I am.
I want Mary. So we fight till that thing is dead. Everyone else is like, whoa, man, I get that you want Mary, but what's that got to do?
That's not incentive for us.
Yeah, why do I have to die for that?
Yeah, because she turned the age you like, which you creepily won't specify what it is. Like, what age? What's cool in Star Wars land?
When a creature appears to be indestructible, killing it could become a problem. Gronk!
Now we're back to gronking.
Swath thud. Whenever it's the ground on this planet like it is on that Last Jedi, like it's kind of red underneath or something. Because whenever something hits the ground,
cool, yeah.
red stuff just
stays
flies everywhere.
Red. It's like Crimson Peak.
What were you saying, Solo? About the monster attacking only the bad guys?
We just got the monster's way, that's all. See, there's again, well, then let's just go.
What are you basing this logic on, hon?
And finally, I just realized I didn't explain why I'm still alive.
Yeah. In case you were curious, thanks for asking.
I was wearing armor.
Like no one cares that he's there.
No one cared that I was dead, and no one noticed that I wasn't.
In case you wondered, since you didn't come to my rescue or try to revive me. So he had armor that saved him from the sky speeder's blast. But he fears it will not perform a like function against that behemoth. Well, you're probably right, dude.
Yeah, probably not going to keep you from being stomped.
Well, stay hidden behind these rocks, Don-Wan Quixote. Just go lay down where you were before when you were dead.
Yeah, because no one was noticing you.
Roar! It looks to me like, see the little spot after the R-O-O? I wonder if that's supposed to be a dash between the R.
Yeah, it looks like it should be red.
And they just colored it green. I wonder if that's like that. You should get a scan of the original.
Hey, gonna take a look. Dang it! Why do I keep putting this back in the bag? Buzzard.
At least now it kind of looks like it's coming out of his head.
It feels like this is too far in to have decided it had a new power, so they just went back and sort of retconned an early page to say no, it was doing it from the very beginning. Oh, you called it too. Looking at the original page, that's definitely a hyphen.
Aha!
Because it's red in the original.
Yep.
Lazy coloring again.
Well, it's what happens when you're probably going too fast, not paying attention to the details.
Yeah, because like you said, it's paint bucket, click, 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 done.
Why doesn't Sergi just grab the girl and run?
Yeah, no one's watching her, so he could totally do
I don't even know where she is. She just ran off last issue. They tell her to go home or something?
He said to go hide from Serji-X. So she did, I guess. But I wonder if they know how to hide from the bandits. How did he get any of them? Like, at what point did we start hiding? It should have been after the first time he took our women.
There's only a few left. Without them, I might as well surrender. Or just drive away. Like you could do right now.
Yeah, we don't... That thing doesn't fly.
But Sergi surrenders to nobody. Never!
I ain't not never surrendered to nobody.
Seems like I'm going to have to kill the beastie myself. My men are so incompetent with their blasters that are exactly the same as mine.
Yeah.
That old codger, for years he's been babbling about being able to control a legendary monster. Okay, one moment. Let me take 5 here. He's been talking to the old codger? Like the old codger's been talking to him?
Every time he comes by, he's like, I'm going to get you with a monster. Yeah, whatever.
He's been babbling about that for years. Like, what conversations has he had with this guy?
Yeah, you must be chewing Luna weed. Think I'm going to buy into that.
Oh, he is controlling it. Oh, okay. So that's why it's not attacking Han and them. Somehow the
Like
old
a
man's
maestro.
in control of it.
Yeah, and this is the move that backfires on both of them.
Yeah, if the old man's controlling it, what do you think's going to happen when you kill the old man, dude? And are you just ramming him? Are you going to take a shot, or are you going to physically run over him?
I guess he's like pulling like a Han. I'm going to pick him up, take him out somewhere, and talk him down.
Maybe. It kind of looks like he's just trying to hit him, like headed straight for the ground so he can hit the old man and then magically pull up after he hits the dude. Whoosh. You'll make a perfect target. Womp. Well, the old man apparently wasn't doing a good job of controlling him if he brought his foot right down on top of his body.
Yeah, you should have been more specific. He's like, kill him no matter what happens. Oh, never mind.
Bad. It was bad call. Bad call, Ripley. Bad call.
I've never summoned a monster before. I didn't know how specific you had to be.
Well, now we're frunked.
Yeah. What I like now is it's on two fronts. Like the Cloud Rider's like we completely lost without our leader, and apropos of nothing at all, the monster is also completely uncontrolled by anybody.
I gotta criticize the art on this panel a little bit.
Yeah, this one's such a sloppy panel. Everybody's face is all droopy and weird. Like Hedgie and Jax look like they were just penciled in really fast.
And Hedgie isn't blue anymore.
Nope, he's closer to his normal
He's
color.
not even
Chewbacca's
consistent.
Proportions. Chewbacca's body makes no sense.
Well, he's hiding behind all these word balloons and other people.
Yeah, but look at his legs are spread apart. Then look how big his head is.
And also, the legs aren't centered with his body.
He's also it's like they decided that they were going to have him crouch down so they get the word balloons in.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look right.
And I'm still upset about Hedgie. He's not even consistently colored within the pages itself. Within one issue, he's two different colors, like complete different colors.
That's fully phoning it in.
And the kid, Starkiller, no pants.
I'm from this village
because I
have no pants.
I've got my Luke shirt on and my bikini briefs. Like why are you wearing?
Never in a Star Wars movie has a guy just been walking around in Speedos. But it's like so far in the Star Wars comic, it happens all the time.
I like how the girl came to fight in her, whatever, poofy shoulder pads and her stockings. Does she have high heels on, too?
That's how we do it in the Black Hole Gang.
Probably. Don Quixote's like, am I the only one that wore armor?
Yeah. Am I the only one who thought ahead at all?
I thought we were fighting.
I survived a blaster bolt because of that.
Even Hedgie, everyone's coming in their underwear for some reason.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one that knew what we were hired for. And I'm crazy.
And I'm obviously a senile fool.
Yeah, I am. I'm nuts.
The Star Killer? I can't do him.
Yeah. The Star Killer kid ain't just supposing, Solo. Without the shame and calling the shot stopper, he was starting to get really mad. And this time, I don't think it's going to be so particular about who it stops.
Maybe we should leave. No.
Yeah, we should go. At least at this point, there is a moral reason for them to stay, because now that it's out of control, it could wreck the village. So it's in the scope of what they were hired to do. But when it seemed like everything was fine, they're like, yeah, let it. Let's go.
Yeah. Hold it there, Solo. We didn't sign on to this blast party of yours to fight any monster. We're being paid to get rid of Serji-X, and I don't seem to see them around. Therefore, give me the
you're
money.
welcome.
Listen to me, you space
freaks.
Yikes, Han.
Come on, man.
Man, Han has been very aggressive these past few
You're
issues.
a terrible motivator as a leader. You couldn't even hit a behemoth if you wanted to. Like, what? I'll show you. Why didn't any of us take this job? We've been complaining since the second we did.
We didn't earn our money for this job. The behemoth did. Well, like, we're going to give the behemoth the cash? Please.
Yeah, chances are, at this point in the game, we're not getting paid.
Yeah, if we got to save the village so they'll pay us. Like, I don't think there's going to be much of the village left, even if you stop it now.
Yeah, well, Jackson knows what's up.
Yeah.
So we know you're a little soft on that Mary female, so you two can stay around arguing about it.
I like how he's a rocket rabbit, though.
Jackson! He's attacking, I guess.
I guess.
Full frontal assault!
Yeah. See, Jackson...
Jack attack!
Jackson
That's what
fears nothing.
He should be like Jack Black. Just
Jack attack! Kia!
Jack's attacks.
Jack's attacks!
Action Jackson. And
Since I always say never send a man out to do a rabbit's job,
no.
'cause I'm a rabbit.
Yeah, get it? Wait, Jackson. That last shot almost took off the rabbit's tail. The rabbit has no tail.
he hasn't in any of the art had a tail.
I don't remember in the last issues, but in this issue he clearly has no tail.
And now it's more rock slides.
Oh, rocks again!
What? He's throwing rocks? Oh, wait. He's been doing that all along.
Rock slide, more rock slides.
Like, there's got to be some Cloud Rider bikes that are serviceable.
I don't know. I think the
Drop my
behemoth took him
gun.
out. He knocked the gun out of my hand. How am I going to kill it if I don't have my tiny gun?
Jackson's arc for 3 panels is just dropping and recovering his gun.
Which is useless.
Which he almost gets himself killed doing.
I mean, we know that thing's not going to work against the big guy. The blasters on the speeder bikes didn't work.
I do like the chemistry of Jackson and Amaza, though.
Yeah, I feel like sooner or later
This is a relationship that's lasted.
We're going to see some little rabbit babies running around sooner or later.
Yeah.
Leave the blaster jacks and
How
take
about
cover.
you and me get together and have about 40 weird kids?
All right.
Like, did those floppy ears of mine detect a little affection in your voice? Like, God, you're a creep too. Every dude in this comic is, even Chewie, which kills me. I hate to think of Chewie that way too, but
I guess all the women are running around in underwear, so it's led to a sort of toxic masculinity.
yeah, for
as a
those of you
general rule.
that didn't watch episode, talking about issue 7, that's where Chewie starts getting down with the
Schnooping.
ladies. Like my mother told all 80 of us kids. I guess that there's just an assumption in their evolution that 98% of them aren't going to survive. That's why they have so many, because otherwise they would overpopulate, within almost
like
instantaneously.
The other species on their planet is coyote people.
Yeah.
Very high mortality rate.
Maybe I ought to get my eyes checked out if we ever get out of this mess.
Get some more space carrots.
Which Jackson begins to doubt as he hears the portentous rumble from above. Quump. Is that what it sounds like when a giant boulder hits the ground?
Quump. I like Jackson and Amaza because they may have the longest running relationship in all of Star Wars, because they're in like the Star Wars Adventures kids comic, and they're still together. So
Still
sweet.
still working together.
Yeah, they're still working their odd little dynamic.
So Han puts together this rando team of literally just whoever was in the bar that night. And these two, I guess, decided to just stay working
Forms
together.
a lifelong partnership between these two people.
Well, that's fun.
So that's something good that came out of this experience for all of them.
Move that tailless fanny of yours, Toots.
Even though Han's kind of grabbing on her pom-poms a little.
Well, it could be worse. We saw what else it could be after
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
issue.
Yeah, we've seen his particular style of rescuing.
Get that 7-foot Wookiee carcass of yours. Wookiee carcass.
Who you calling carcass?
I want you to...
Brug, yeah.
Next time, your mom is not walking quickly enough, say, get that human carcass moving. That's not at all weird, huh?
Move your tailless fanny, Mom.
Just twisted my ankle, but I'll live. That's what you think.
I must my tail.
His tail must be inside his pants.
I guess so. And it must be completely flat.
Wait, why we assumed that he would have like a tail hole in his trousers. Maybe he covers it.
That is kind of weird, I guess. Just like pull your tail through. Yeah, I can see how that would be weird.
No, I think of the dynamic of that. Like, of course we don't do that. For what purpose?
But I do think it'd be weird if he had a big puffy rabbit tail just kind of stuck in his pants.
It's kind of cushy to sit on. He keeps falling on rocks. I guess it helps.
Before the rocks start falling again, Chewie, take a mesa where it's safe, but don't squeeze too hard. Aww. I was wanting to get some mesa squeeze in.
Weird. You've been squeezing them all, Han. You're one to talk.
Hey, has anyone seen the old man? I haven't heard him waxing lately.
I thought he was dead.
Wait, isn't he dead? No, he said something about his armor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Like, who was supposed to be watching him? We haven't cared that he's here.
They'd be fools to think that such a dragon may be slain by their crude methods. For it requires the skills of one trained in the holy order of the Jedi Knights.
I will excise that filth and impurity. Every time. It's like, just take it down.
Only humans should be on this land.
Yeah, you inhuman filth.
We'll do our planning later. Guess who's back? Like, who's
back?
Because
he's never been anywhere else but right here.
Yeah, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Yeah, this is sort of like the T-Rex scene in the first Jurassic Park where they turn around and they're on like a 40-foot cliff and they're like, "Where'd it go?" It's like it hasn't gotten far from you at all.
It didn't teleport,
it's
man.
Right here. It doesn't just stop existing because it's not in frame. Runk.
Didn't mean that literally, Chewie. Mean what?
That we'll do our planning.
I guess.
I didn't literally mean we'd plan things, Chewie.
I didn't mean we'd plan it later. Now, is that the blast from its head?
It's tiny now. Why is it phasing out?
It's tiny and it's curving. It almost looks like it's peeing on them or something. Yeah.
But he's saying it's rays.
Oh, but the rays were straight up exploding skybikes a minute ago. And now this little ray is just like a tiny little thing that hits the ground and appears to do nothing at all. But if it doesn't see us for a while, maybe it'll think it got us. Maybe it's a moron.
And then go back in its mountain or something.
Yeah.
Like, what's the end game even if that's the case? Like, you'd still have to do something about it.
Scratch that plan. The thing's ready to blast us again, and it's aiming right for that. Another landslide.
Another landslide! This whole issue is landslides, mostly. And Hedgie's back there going, "Do you want me to hit it with my quills?" No, Hedgie. That's no good for anything.
You have literally done nothing this entire battle.
You've been no help for this entire storyline.
So wait, is Chewie grabbing Han? And where are Chewie's legs?
I don't know. Is he supposed to be behind some
Look
kind
how
of
big
shelf
he
of rock?
looks next to Han. This is weird looking.
Yeah, this is all
It almost looks like he's a cave painting of Chewie on the rock or something.
Yeah, I really like when they find those, like, the indigenous cave paintings of the Sasquatch or whatever, and they say, "See, it's real."
Hey, Chewbacca, let go! I can move out of the way myself. Aren't you supposed to be carrying a mesa, Chewbacca?
Yeah, you just let her go, because look at her. She's about to get crushed by a rock.
The behemoth doesn't give up, does it?
It's been doing this for like 3 whole minutes.
And I'm still working on a plan. Keep dodging for the next 20 minutes while I think about it.
Yeah. Our plan is to keep not giving up.
It's going to take Don-Wan's lightsaber to do it. So I want to know, what is his plan with the lightsaber?
I think his plan, and I don't want to, spoiler warning, like, I'm basing this on what actually happens. I think Han's plan is to stab the monster with the lightsaber. Like, that's like, everything else has failed. I got a plan. It's crazy, but it just might work. We'll stab it.
You hear me, Don-Wan? He never told how you got a Jedi Knight's weapon. I said I was a Jedi, jerk. But it's still...
I made it.
Don-Wan! Oh no, look! We've got to help him! This time!
Cut away to space. And now back to whatever the hell Luke and Leia are doing. Luke has disappeared.
I like how
Leia is looking.
we know this is Leia thinking, but it looks like the spaceship is thinking. I never should have listened to General Dodonna and the others. I should have done this right away.
Which I think she did, because last we saw her, she was literally running to a spaceship.
So fast she couldn't even change into a more productive.
Yeah, a useful outfit. Like, we find out that's one thing that's funny, because she's captured at the beginning of Star Wars, and there's an urgency to everything that happens. She's wearing the same outfit through the entire movie. So for the comic books, I think most of the time, if not the entire time between Star Wars and Empire, she's only ever this haircut and this dress. And then Empire, the first thing we see is she changed her hair, and she's wearing a different outfit, and then she keeps changing outfits and hairstyles throughout Empire, and she does it in Jedi too. It's like, this was one tiny outfit that she wore would have worn for maybe an hour, based on how she normally dressed.
Were they afraid that people wouldn't recognize that it's supposed to be Leia if she didn't have that on?
Who's that supposed to be? Like, even if you just gave her different clothes but kept the trademark buns.
Yeah, I think that would be obvious.
It would have been fine. But it is funny how they were like, nope, this is how she always dresses.
Yep, this is Leia. Something's happened to Luke, and I'm going to find him, even if I've got to do it alone. Did you even ask anyone to come? I mean, you're the princess.
We should stop doing these missions alone.
I'm pretty sure you could just command people to come with you. He's gone off with the 2 robots to find a new planet for the rebels. I like how she calls them robots.
Yeah.
That's kind of out of character in Star Wars. Just as he saw something and was about to tell us what it was, we lost all communication with him. And there's no way for us to make contact with him again. I can't just let him be swallowed up. One more casualty of the rebellion against the Empire. It's too bad Han Solo had to rocket off to spend his reward money.
Selfishly save his own life.
I could use that Starhopper's help right now. See, Leia still likes Han. There's something there.
Meanwhile, just immediately cut away.
Help!
Help! Jedi needs the help of no one.
Oh, okay. He's saying help because, we've got to help him. I was like, why is he thinking help?
Yeah, why did he pick up on Leia's internal dialogue? All I need is this lightsaber. Don-Wan does seem like a typical classic Jedi. He's kind of a run-in and not plan anything and overestimate his ability to handle stuff. All the Jedi needs is his own gumption.
And instead of
some dirty,
uncivilized weapon, instead of us sneaking up on it, which would be smart, he says, "Hold, behemoth, and if you dare, face me." Why would you do that?
Yeah, because he's crazy. Whether it is the sound of the old man's voice or the pulsating weapon that he holds, something attracts the behemoth. It's probably the sound of his voice.
It's probably someone yelling at him right behind him.
He's like, "Hey, come over here, let me stab you." It's like, well, I guess I better pay attention to this guy then.
Look! You see what that crazy old fool is doing?
He's doing the exact same thing that I was planning to do.
Yeah.
Ostensibly.
Sure do. He's leading that monster away from us so he can face it alone.
Maybe he's not so crazy. Maybe Hedgie is like Zartan and he just turns blue.
I'm starting to wonder, because he's blue again.
Maybe that's when Hedgie gets scared.
Yeah.
He really was a Jedi Knight and knows something we don't.
You hear their jeers, Behemoth? They think Don-Wan Quixote to be too old for the noble art of combat. Yet even one of so advanced years is still as one with the Force, which permits even these stiff and weary bones to evade whatever hell-spawned bolts you might hurl toward me. Bazam!
The proportion of the monster is completely weird in this.
Yeah, I can't tell. I have no idea. And now he has a tail. I don't remember if he had a tail before and I just didn't notice.
I think he did, but he hasn't been fully in frame in any of the artwork, so it's been hard to tell.
And now, Behemoth, the time for a final conflict is upon us. Needless to add, but one of us shall emerge from the battle alive.
Yeah, that does go without saying at this point, Don-Wan. The knight stalks toward the behemoth, and if only for moments the monster pauses, its scaly head lifting.
The monster's reacting funny the closer he gets with that lightsaber. Then I think my hunch is right. I think it's...
Then Edgy, what are you doing, Edgy? Come on.
Quit ruining this. I wanted to see the old guy die.
Come on, man. Why is everybody in such a hurry to get killed? I'm going to help the old warrior who's put his life on the line to save all of us.
Listen to me, Don-Wan. Maybe you did stumble on a light sabre somewhere after the Empire had crushed the real Jedi Knights. And maybe it warped you into thinking you were a Jedi. It seems like a long little soliloquy for him to be saying in this moment
While
of
he's
action.
running and avoiding lasers. But you're not fast enough to keep avoiding those bolts. But to keep avoiding, that means I have been fast enough so far.
Keep back! No one.
Neither man nor spiner, for spiners are less than men.
Yeah.
Must interfere with the Jedi Knight's task. Do not sully me with your inhuman aid.
At this point, the only Jedi we know of are human, I guess. So maybe he's like, we don't have any Yodas yet. Much less all the ones that came in the prequels.
Slaying the beast is my mission, and slay him I shall.
All right, dude. Go for it.
Let me help you out with some of my quills.
Yeah.
Damn it, Edgy.
Let me give him a splinter.
Let's see if I can annoy him.
You're getting my help whether you want it or not. Zick, 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 zick. And all it does is make him really mad.
The astounding accuracy. Yeah, you got all of his fingers. Why don't you go for his eyes if it's that astounding?
Seriously, shoot him into his throat or something.
Any one of these quills would bring instant death to a normal victim. But this time, the whole barrage of needle-like weapons only further anger the behemoth.
So,
and he's a blam seal, man. So thanks for your help.
He actually gets him killed here.
He
Or at least-
completely gets him killed.
Or at least hurt.
Quills didn't do much good, did they?
Who's saying
no.
Han?
Not sure. I guess it
Oh,
was
it's the
Jill.
kid. It's Starkiller. I see now.
I guess them quills didn't do much good, did they? Like, no. Of course they didn't.
Hang the quills. It's that lightsaber that's getting that monster all wrought up. Don't you all see what's happening?
Lightsabers are better than pointy things.
Space freaks.
Sorry I hired you guys.
The sword's acting like an old-fashioned lightning rod, interfering with that energy beam the creature shoots from its fin. Without its energy beam, all it'll be able to do is step on us.
Stomp us and cause more rock slides that completely immobilize us.
Even a dumb brute like that can sense that the lightsaber's a threat through its life. Okay, we don't know that this thing is dumb. It's kind of mean that they assume it's dumb.
Yeah.
It could just start talking right now and go, "That's hurtful.
Yeah. No one even bothered to ask.
I just got woken up and I killed all these bad guys for you."
Sorry, what do you want? Well, I want to stomp you, but I'm just saying you could ask.
No need to assume the worst about me. That's why the closer Don-Wan gets, the crazier the behemoth acts. Well, that's what we want, for it to act crazier than it was before.
Yeah, we need it to be even more erratic.
Like the old guy's too slow. If I could run fast enough, maybe Well, how about have the rabbit do it? Last issue, it established that it was one of the fastest on the planet.
The fastest one. And he keeps saying, but instead what would be faster is if Chewbacca picked me up and carried me like a football.
Well, you might not know this, but Wookiees have incredible speed. Hey, you stuffed...
I didn't know
Oh, I get you. Sure, with those stovepipe legs of yours and that speed that comes with them, we just might save the old man yet. This should totally be a fastball special. He should throw Han right at him.
I would love that. That would work. But instead, why doesn't Chewie just run over there without Han? What is Han even bringing to the table at this point?
I know Chewie's like, I'm going to carry Han, who's going to carry the lightsaber, and stab him with it. Instead of I just carry the lightsaber. Makes much more sense. Okay, pal, set me down. Listen, Don-Wan. Again, they're making this middle of this intense action. I appreciate the heroics, but even though your intentions are good, you're just not making it. We've decided to go another direction.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not you, it's me.
We just think you might be happier pursuing other avenues of craziness.
Why are you interrupting my holy task? Why do people keep interrupting me? Like I was actually...
I'm the only one getting anything done.
I was actually doing okay. I haven't made any mistakes yet.
Yeah, I didn't get killed by the bandits. I did attack the behemoth. I was blocking the bolts before that hedgehog guy totally almost got me killed.
You got something I need, friend, and I just stopped by to borrow it. No, you commit blasphemy. I'm glad he didn't just straight up punch the old man to get it. Like, I need this more than you, I think. You remember that from Grand Theft Auto? Yeah, it's a robbery. Don't make it a murder.
Yeah.
Again, the task is beyond one of his years.
Well, how
This has got some
how is
ageism.
running up to it and stabbing it not in his wheelhouse? Because it's exactly what he went up there to do.
Yeah, this is ageism big time. They keep talking, you're too old to do anything useful. Even when they hired him, they're like, he can't get in the way too much. like, look, I'm useful. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I'm useless.
I brought a lightsaber at least. That guy brought, like, pins.
Yeah, he didn't even bring clothes. I'm the only one that wore armor.
I'm the only one that wore pants. It's like only me and Solo wore pants.
And Solo, well, at least Solo put his shirt on. Never used
Yeah,
one
well,
of these gadgets before. I'm certainly no Jedi Knight, but I've used most other hand weapons.
And I know how to stab things. Seems I remember hearing once about a Jedi killing a monster like this with a lightsaber. That's like the dumbest, convenient, obvious line. Because it's like, yeah, you heard that a Jedi could kill a monster with a lightsaber. That's not specific information that you can just fall back on. That's just a general thing. So dumb. Seems I remember one time hearing about a battery being used to work a flashlight. That's just what they're for.
Something
That's
about the
not a
light.
special circumstance.
Something about the light blade counteracting the energy. Oh, that's part of the story, I guess. Like, I remember hearing of it. Something about the light blade counteracting the energy
So
that
he
powers
heard
the
a story
monster's
about
fin
a
bolts.
giant monster that had a fin ray. Now that's like wildly specific. It went from being really broad to really, really specific.
Well, there's really no reason to think that this is the only version of this monster anywhere.
I guess.
I mean, really, if
Then
you
why
think
did
about
everyone
it,
think the shaman was crazy?
there should be a.
We're like,
Well,
oh.
that's true. There should be a whole species of rancors and sarlaccs. I mean, it's not like this one thing would just grow and that would be the only one.
In the old Legends continuity, rancors were indigenous to Dathomir.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. That sounds like it makes it an even less pleasant place to be.
Yeah, it's a terrible place if you took everything that's ever been said about it. So it also is host to the dark side witches of Dathomir, and also the home planet of Darth Maul.
Yeah, so basically,
God,
nothing pleasant comes from that place.
worst place in the universe. It's like, yeah, it's terrible.
Holy beak monkeys, that was close. Doesn't sound like you're doing much better than the old man, ageist.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing exactly the same.
All right, Ugly, I've no more time to fool around with you. I gotta go find Mary. Trusting with a weapon he has never wielded before, Han Solo makes a sudden dash towards the creature's chest. Come on, creature. You really gonna let a guy with a lightsaber just straight up run and stab you in the heart?
What's weird is he totally is just stabbing him in the hand in this image. And then when he's running away, we don't see the lightsaber at all, so there's no reference to what he's actually done.
Yeah.
The monster goes berserk, lashing and blasting at everything.
Maybe those are his two hands coming together to try to catch him or something, and that's his chest in the middle.
I guess, or he's up, or that's the thumb, and he's up under it to the chest, but it just looks like a big hand.
Yeah, it does. It's weird. Roaring hideously. Take cover! It's probably gonna explode!
But I love how he's like, look out! I don't know if I accomplished anything at all.
But it's mad now.
But it's way worse.
Thanks, Han. Don Quixote's like, ahem, where's my lightsaber?
But surprisingly, the behemoth suddenly halts its haphazard attack, its massive hulk now twisting in convulsions.
Aw.
Then the lightsaber flashing in the monster's heaving chest. That's what that thing is in the middle, I guess. There comes a strange crackling from within the creature, and...
Arrgh! Frank!
Yeah, Frank! That does seem to be Chewie's go-to, like, Frank! Normally it's a Gronk, it's just like a regular, but like, Frank!
Yeah, I
Holy
think that's like
fuck!
that's the curse version of Gronk. The Force is with us,
He
Han
is-
Solo. The
it's
lightsaber is
the F word.
destroying the behemoth. The demon is beginning to disintegrate. You hear the crazy old man, Chewie? Looks like I won. I feel kind of bad for the behemoth. Like, did you have to disintegrate it?
He was just trapped in a cave. It's sort of like Cloverfield when they tell you that the monster is actually a baby that just hatched.
Like, oh.
And you're like, oh, God, it didn't know what it was doing, and then they just obliterated it.
Can't you put it back in its bedchamber, as they called it in the last issue?
Yeah, well, I guess if the old man hadn't died, he's the only one who knew the spells.
When the last fading image of the behemoth is swept away by the winds of a 2x3. That's kind of gruesome. Like wind just sweeping ash over everybody. Well, guess it's over, folks.
Yeah. Good luck getting paid.
My pockets are still empty.
Yeah, there was a matter of some money that still need to be sorted out.
Soon as the peasants pay us, speaking of which, here they come. Great. Then after I get my share, I can finally get off this crummy planet before I totally crack up.
What?
Va-va-voom.
You've seen her in a bikini before. She's always in a bikini.
Yeah, but now she's looking at him. Hello,
Whoa.
Jim. I saw what you did today. You were very brave. Did he do anything? I mean,
I was pretty much just prancing around with no pants on, but I mean, if that's your bag.
I mean, like, for real question, I don't remember him even firing
he didn't
a
do
weapon.
Anything. He got his droid killed. That's all he did.
But you never even looked at me before. That's one of the reasons I'm looking now, Jim.
Like, oh God, how embarrassing.
Perhaps
give
I
a
can
little kiss to Han.
Perhaps I can somehow change your mind about leaving our little village. But first, thank you, Han. Huh? For saving our village and also bringing out the man in the Star Killer Kid.
For making him the Star Killer man.
Han's like, I didn't do any of that.
What are you talking about ever? Like, he never understands one single thing she ever says or does.
Father? Grandfather?
Women with thoughts and agency? What?
After the meager payments have been made, the 5 weary heroes return to their bantha mounts. See you around, Solo. Drop by the village sometime here. Yeah, that's going to happen.
I know how much you like my girlfriend.
So, I didn't get the girl. Who cares? She was kind of young anyway. Oh, this is
God,
just...
Why do you have to keep coming back to this?
I mean...
We could have just swept that aspect under the rug.
She was kind of young anyway.
Stop.
I mean, not so young I wouldn't have done it. But young enough that now I'm like...
No.
Now it makes me feel a little better. Like, oh, well, yeah she's kind of young, I guess.
I would call her more of a weird maybe than a hard no, if you understand.
At least now I can afford to get the Millennium Falcon out of Hawk. Wait a minute.
So that I can break even. I traded my ship in for these banthas so I could do this job, and now with what I got from this job, I can go get my ship back. So I accomplished nothing.
Hold up. Didn't he say in the last issue that he
put it up as security?
Yeah, he didn't
to get
Hawk.
the banthas.
He didn't sell it to a pawn shop or something.
Well, I'm assuming he's just saying out of Hawk to mean that.
But that would be just the returning of the banthas, right? Not paying in addition to that, or was there an additional fee on top of that?
So there's no... Again, this would have made more sense if something had happened to the... And I'll give him this because you'll find in the expanded universe of Star Wars, it doesn't usually happen to Han, but it happens to Luke all the time that he crash lands on planets. Like, usually if Princess Leia is in the ship, chances are we're about to find out that wherever Luke is, he's already crash landed on this planet. I'm guessing that's what we're going to find out in the next issue because he does it a lot.
Yeah, like if we had said before, if the Falcon had been damaged in the fight with the space pirates,
it would have made sense.
He'd have been stuck on the planet, and now he's like, now I have enough money, I can afford to get the Falcon fixed. That would have made complete sense, and that would explain why he couldn't fly the Falcon to this village. But, you know,
it would have fixed everything. Just that one thing.
It's like the old man. I'm talking about Luke always crash landing. Remember in Hot Shots, one of the Hot Shots movies, the captain guy was like, you know, I crashed here, blah blah blah. I crashed here, blah blah blah. It's like, come to think of it, I never have landed a plane.
I don't think I've ever landed a plane. That is Luke Skywalker. Like, Jesus. And the more, if you have Leia with you, the likelihood of this happening is at least doubled.
Well, he's distracted by Leia's presence. It's like you may have come from the greatest starfighter in the galaxy, but the apple fell pretty far from the tree.
Yeah, really. Well, in my defense, no one ever showed me how to fly a spaceship. They just started putting me in the cockpit of ships.
That's true. There was no assumption. It's like, I can fly, I fly
I'm not a bad pilot.
What do they call that thing? The T-16 or whatever.
T-16.
What is it? It's not a.
It's like
It's not a.
It's like he's like, I can ride a Vespa. It's like, but that doesn't mean that you're like a professional racer.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put him in an X-wing in a battle. He could have crashed into all the other X-wings for all they know.
Just clips his wingman as soon as they pull out.
Yeah, accidentally.
Just red 5-step. Oh God!
Why are you shooting all your torpedoes at us? I thought that was the brake.
Yeah, I was trying to expand my X-foils.
That was issue 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the. You got to meet some new friends.
Han never ends up with the girl.
That's true. Well, he got Leia. What are you talking
find
about?
out. He didn't end up with her.
Yeah, he did. I don't count the sequels. In my book, he ended up with her.
Alternate timeline.
He did in the the original canon, the expanded universe or whatever. But so far so good. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Gotta find out what happens to Luke on Drexel.
I'm just anxious to find out what's going on with him. Why he's like, what's that? No! I mean, that's got to be something
What happened
interesting.
to his commseiver?
It better not be a TIE fighter. Like, I'm gonna be mad if he's like, she gets there. It's like, I was attacked by a TIE fighter. Like, you don't scream no when you see a TIE fighter out the windshield.
Well, there was a spider.
Yeah, there was a spider in my coffee. Freaked me out.
Yeah.
Like, gross.
Sorry. Yeah, so there you go. So if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, then we also have an extended audio version of it that we'll put out on tv8midinner.com.
And he means
If you're interested
extended.
in that.
Like another hour or more.
Yeah, it's just unnecessarily. If you want to hear us talk about a wide range of things that have nothing to do even with Star Wars, then that's happening. If you're doing that already, then and this is too much for you, then I would. It's too late, but I would recommend that you go over to Marvel Age Star Wars and check out the video version, which is much shorter and more on topic.
And please subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you're interested in knowing. That's about the best way to do it, because they're not going to recommend us. Yeah, and if you enjoy the videos, just take a moment to hit the like button if you like, and we would appreciate that as well. But certainly, let us know what you think too. If you want us to cover something, we don't have to stay on the original Marvel comic for 107 issues. We might take some deviation points.
Yeah, man. Just if you want to hear our thoughts on anything, give us a comment. If you have suggestions about things we could do to improve the show, if you don't like something we do,
we'll come to your house and just talk.
Well, I'll bring the coffee. We'll just hang out. But
just do the show for you then.
Yeah, we could do live performances.
If you just want two guys talking to each other in your living room without engaging with you at all, that's a service we could offer.
It's like, yeah, it's a good show, but until you've seen it live, you have no idea.
Yeah, really, it's a very bizarre experience.
We'll put links to all that stuff down below, and also to Sean's book on Amazon. You could check that out.
That's The Cosmic Unconscious. If you're interested in the psychology of Star Wars, that's what that book is about, and that's on Amazon. So we'll put a link to that if you're curious.
Could do a book report on it.
Yeah.
But we do love you guys, and leave us some comments. I want to have conversations with you.
Sure. Yeah, I hear that the YouTube comment section is the perfect place to have civilized discussion.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing but positive from what I hear.
So I can't wait.
So much encouragement.
To get that engagement from you.
All right, guys.
All right. That's it, though. All right. I guess that's enough.
We'll see you next episode, issue 11. Till then, I'm Brooks.
I'm Sean.
And bye-bye.
Snoop.